Hi, welcome to the quiz. You will be presented with multiple choice questions, each displayed on screen for a short time. Please make sure to attempt answering all the questions. Quizzes help us to reinforce our knowledge, identify areas where we need to focus more, and improve our overall performance. Taking quizzes can also help to increase retention and make the learning process more engaging and enjoyable. With that out of the way, you can answer along on quizalto.com. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started. Good luck. In what ways can Amazon Inspector assist in enhancing security posture? By providing actionable recommendations for addressing vulnerabilities. By managing hardware resources. By disabling security features temporarily. By highlighting non-critical issues only. What configuration management tool does Amazon Inspector integrate with to enforce security benchmarks? AWS CloudFormation. AWS Systems Manager. AWS Config. AWS Identity and Access Management. How can Amazon Inspector findings impact security incident response? By requiring manual confirmation before any action is taken. By limiting the number of findings generated per assessment. By providing real-time alerts for immediate response to vulnerabilities. By delaying response to identified security risks. What AWS service does Amazon Inspector utilize to automate the deployment of correct security resources? AWS Systems Manager Run Command. AWS Code Pipeline. AWS Config. AWS CloudFormation. What deployment model does Amazon Inspector support? Agent-based. External appliance-based. Reactive-based. Hardware-based. What role does Amazon Inspector provide to simplify the security assessment process? It identifies only low-level security vulnerabilities. It generates random findings to test the system. It requires manual configuration for every assessment. It automates the assessment process, reducing manual effort. What resource provides detailed information about Amazon Inspector findings and assessments? Amazon Inspector API documentation. General AWS blogs. AWS technical support. AWS Certified Security, Specialty Study Guide. What is the benefit of Amazon Inspector's automated security assessment capabilities? It reduces the need for manual patching of vulnerabilities. It limits the number of risk factors analyzed. It decreases visibility into security vulnerabilities. It enables quick identification of common security issues. What role does Amazon Inspector play in vulnerability management? It continuously detects new vulnerabilities without any action. It audits the network for potential threats. It helps in identifying and prioritizing vulnerabilities for remediation. It mitigates all identified vulnerabilities automatically. What options does Amazon Inspector provide for fine-tuning security assessments? By limiting the number of assessments per day. By allowing users to create custom rules packages. By automatically pausing the assessment process. By restricting access to assessment findings. How does Amazon Inspector help in setting up automated security checks? By providing downloadable security templates. By integrating with AWS Lambda to trigger checks based on events. By adjusting system configurations on its own. By requiring manual setup for every check. What integration does Amazon Inspector have with AWS Config? It can bypass AWS Config rules for faster assessments. It can assess resources against AWS Config rules for compliance. It can merge AWS Config data directly into findings. It can disable AWS Config rules for specific resources. What type of assessments does Amazon Inspector provide for security testing? Host assessments and network assessments. Storage assessments. End-user assessments. Database assessments. What is the purpose of Amazon Inspector's agent-based assessment approach? To offload assessment tasks to external systems. To complement existing security measures with additional assessments. To decrease the number of findings generated. To provide real-time security monitoring on instances. What is the purpose of Amazon Inspector's security assessment templates? To provide pre-configured settings for common security assessments. To schedule assessments automatically. To restrict the scope of security assessments. To limit access to assessment findings. What role does Amazon Inspector play in DevSecOps practices? It integrates security testing into the development pipeline. It removes security testing from the development process. It delays application deployment for security testing. It requires manual intervention for every test. What actions can Amazon Inspector recommend for addressing critical security findings? Disregarding the criticality of the findings. Immediate patching of known vulnerabilities and closing off security gaps. Involving third-party security vendors for remediation. Delaying response until the next assessment cycle. How does Amazon Inspector contribute to cloud security practices? By limiting the use of cloud resources. By decreasing visibility into potential security risks. By automating security assessments and providing actionable recommendations. By slowing down cloud deployments. What is the significance of Amazon Inspector's ability to provide recommendations for addressing findings? It increases the number of findings generated. It requires external validation for all recommendations. It helps in developing effective remediation strategies for security vulnerabilities. It delays the resolution of security issues. What is one way in which Amazon Inspector helps improve incident response times? By restricting access to incident responders. By manually assessing security vulnerabilities. By automatically generating security findings. By delaying the notification of security incidents. How does Amazon Inspector support container security in Kubernetes environments? By enforcing container termination policies. By providing security assessments for containers running on Kubernetes clusters. By limiting the number of containers allowed per cluster. By automatically upgrading Kubernetes versions. What is the significance of Amazon Inspector findings in a security assessment? They provide performance metrics for applications. They list system errors that require troubleshooting. They show the number of users accessing a resource. They highlight potential security vulnerabilities that require action. What is the role of Amazon Inspector in automotive security assessments? Identifying potential security threats in automotive software and systems. Optimizing GPS navigation systems. Monitoring tire pressure in vehicles. Improving fuel efficiency in vehicles. What is Amazon Inspector used for? Identifying security vulnerabilities in applications. Optimizing SQL queries. Automating deployment of resources. Managing networking configurations. What role does Amazon Inspector have in security incident management? It recovers system data after incidents. It prevents incidents from occurring. It aids in identifying vulnerabilities and weaknesses during incidents. It restores network configurations after incidents. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.